Hello and welcome to the show. Happy Friday. We are absolutely live here on Level Up, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the show. It's the end of the week, so let's dive right on.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Friday vibes indeed. It's great to have you join me. If you're joining me live, hello and welcome to the show. If you're joining me on replay, it's great to have you join us as well. For those of you brand new to the show, I am Winnie Sun, your host, an award-winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. And we are coming live on over 6, 7, different social media streaming platforms. So it's great to see all of you. Definitely jump in, take a moment to introduce yourself. Would love to see how your Friday's going, right? Big way going into the weekend. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyhow, let's talk about how the market is doing currently. It hasn't closed yet, still early in the day, but we got to celebrate the positives when we get them. It's a triple positive right now so far. Dow's currently up 204 points, Nasdaq up 70, and the S&P 500 is up about 19 as well. Yeah, still early in the day, but we'll take the positives as we can get them. Now, this is something I've been talking about for the last few days on the show, and you probably heard about Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. He's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And by the way, I don't know if you've ever been to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. If you've been to Jackson Hole, I don't know how you feel about it, but I absolutely love it there. In fact, if it were up to me, I'd be on a plane today and we'd be like, I would take the kids. We would go to Jackson Hole this weekend because it's so beautiful there. In fact, Yellowstone is probably my favorite national park. And I know we have some beautiful ones here in Southern California, but I'm just saying Yellowstone has my heart. It's so pretty. I love the waterfalls and all that. But I digress. So Jerome Powell is hanging out at Wyoming and Jackson Hole. And of course, some of the executives there are doing a little fly fishing and enjoying the views. But what we really want to hear and what we've been waiting for all week is what he's going to do about inflation and interest rates. Well, he finally gave us an idea. In fact, he is saying that inflation is still above the level where policymakers and himself feel comfortable, i.e., more interest rate hikes are coming. I don't know if that means one or more than that, but they're saying that they want to see inflation come down even more. And sure, he did say that he does see that some core inflation has decreased, so that's going the right direction. But, and this is a big one, he really wants to see inflation get back to the 2% level, which I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at my grocery bill and I'm looking at the cost of goods, I mean, even things as simple as, goodness, I'm preparing for my youngest's birthday party this weekend. Even things like his birthday cake, I'm going to call it birthday cake inflation because, wow, I think his birthday cake that he really wants, that he had like a few years ago, I think it's up like over $30 more. I couldn't believe how expensive it is. So let's just say that he's going to a smaller cake this year. But anyhow, yes, so we would like to see inflation down to the 2% range. So the Federal Reserve has already executed sort of multiple interest rate hikes, over 11 of them already. Now, that's bringing the key rate to its highest level. We know that mortgage rates are now at a 23-year high. And I know you know that. And for those of you who are looking and sitting on the sidelines, waiting to purchase a home, you're like, this is crazy. But unfortunately, they're sort of trying to make that decision of, they need to get inflation under control, but they don't want to go crazy with the rate hikes either, because that could definitely create more havoc for the US economy. So it's kind of like that Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. We'll see if they're successful in navigating Americans through this time and getting us to the regular, more normal inflation levels, but still keep the economy growing and continue to stay productive here in the United States. we'll have to keep with that story and see how that unfolds. And so, speaking of stories that we've been following, we've been talking about the Hollywood strikes, right? The writers and all that impact of AI and entertainment and streaming and all things like that. But one area that's also now talking about strikes, and I don't know if this is going to impact you, but I think it will. And I want to kind of delve into this story a little bit. And by the way, for those of you who were hoping to see Greg today, I was hoping to see Greg today as well for in the loop. He's under the weather. So that's why he's not with me today. So I didn't want to leave you hanging. So we're bringing up a special Friday edition of Level Up. But let's talk about this next story, which is about strikes. Now, UAW members have approved possible strikes at General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, I think it's called. So basically, the United Auto Workers, which is UAW, is a union. Their members have granted overwhelming approval for potential strikes at these auto manufacturers. Now, why I think this is important for you to think about is, sure, you may not drive these vehicles, or maybe you do, right? And you might be like, well, how is that going to impact me? I'm not purchasing a new car anytime soon, or maybe my next car will go like full on electric vehicle. So does that really impact me? It does. And the reason that is because the strike authorization is trying to regain some of the things that they lost from previous negotiations between workers and the union. And I've got union and workers are together, but also the auto manufacturers. Because some of the complaints they're saying is now that there's more of a shift to electric vehicles at these manufacturers, and of course competing manufacturers, to EV vehicles, this is causing a decrease in workforce. Yeah. So think about like AI and now going to new technology, maybe more streamlined manufacturing. So 97% of the participating UAW members are supporting strikes at these three automakers. Now, the union represents 145,000 plus workers at these three manufacturers. And they're saying that they're not happy with income inequality. And of course, that they can't keep up, and corporate is making so much more money than they are. And they're just not happy with a lot of ways of like compensation, pension plans, which are a very big, robust part of your retirement savings, right? But also very costly for businesses, especially companies to maintain. Then they're talking about retiree healthcare. Now, many of you might work at companies that don't have retiree healthcare coverage. Like I am at a company, our company doesn't offer a retiree healthcare coverage, and that's really a minority. I think, very older style companies had these, but most modern companies don't have retiree healthcare coverage. I mean, you sort of just go into Medicare, right, at some point. But also cost of living adjustments they're talking about. So the union is hoping for a 40% increase in current pay over their current contract's duration, along with a 4-day work week and a 32-hour work week without any pay reduction. I think this is going to be tough. And the reason I say that is because UAW advocates are looking for protections against job losses and plant closures because automakers are shifting more to EV production. And they're saying EV production reduces labor hours required for assembly, fewer parts. And so this is raising concerns about job displacement and wage discrepancies. So if we stand back a little bit and we look at the story, what do you hear? You're hearing that like seasoned, experienced employees at these auto manufacturers want to hold on to better pay, right? Better retirement benefits, better medical benefits, less working days of the week, but still, less, but not losing pay. But they're competing against new technology that reduces labor hours, fewer parts, and imagine fewer benefit needs as well, and like less people. So as a business, you're looking at like you want to keep your existing employees happy because you're not full on an EV yet. But then what you're seeing in the future is these are going to cost a lot less for us to produce the vehicles that our customers, consumers will want in their garages, right? They want electric vehicles because they're more fuel efficient. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about climate change. Um, and it sort of just seems like that's the direction the auto industry is going anyway because of consumer demand. So, what does that really mean? So, those are like a lot of questions I think that we can sort of think about as consumers because with more, of course, we want employees to be paid well, pay fairly, have like work life flexibility, but at what cost? As a consumer purchasing a car, are you comfortable with a higher sticker price because of all these employee benefits? Or do you, as a consumer, prefer going more the electric vehicle route with not just electric vehicles, but more streamlined, less production, less parts, right? Just like a less expensive purchase for you and your household budget. I don't know what you think about that, but I would love to get your feeling about that. I'm going to check comments really and see what's coming. Thank you so much, Vicky. Vicky's wishing my youngest a happy birthday. Thank you. I'm so excited. He's turning 10 this weekend. Double digits is a big thing. Yes, we're hoping Greg feels better very, very soon. Yeah, and so I'm curious to see how you feel about that discussion. And I don't know, I'm sure there's people that are on different sides of discussion. I'm curious to see how you feel. Are you comfortable paying more for a vehicle? Are you good with that to maintain that employee base? Or do you like the idea of cars being built more efficiently and being less expensive for your household budget? I feel like we want all of it, right? We want both of it, but it's hard. Sometimes as consumers, we're going to have to make that choice. Speaking of choice, let's move on to our next story. And this is, of course, about Tesla. Speaking of electric vehicles, of EVs, we're going to talk Tesla and Elon Musk. Okay, so you've heard about this Cybertruck. I mean, I think I was one of the first people that put a deposit on a Cybertruck. At that time, I didn't really want it yet. And my husband's like, don't get that. What are we gonna do with a Cybertruck? It doesn't even fit all of, the entire family. But I was like, I don't know. I just feel like since we have the right, because we own a Tesla, that we could put a deposit, just do it. Because it wasn't that much at the time. So I put a deposit for the Cybertruck and thinking that it would be available for the next year. My husband's like, our oldest isn't going to even be old enough to drive a vehicle. So why? And it's a kind of, I thought it was kind of a cool car for a kid. And at the time, the sticker price wasn't crazy high. So I thought that might be interesting to like at least have a choice to say no or yes. But here we are in 2023. In fact, now in almost the last quarter of 2023, and the Cybertruck still does not exist. And at this point, do we even think it's going to come this year and next year? I don't know, because there was a story, maybe it's a leak story, but I saw a story online. It's many publications are printing it about that Elon is not happy with the current Cybertruck quality. In fact, there have been Cybertrucks already leaked to, I guess people have taken pictures of them on the road or whatever. They've been tested. Anyhow, he is not happy because with the Cybertruck being mostly metal, right? And you can see, and they have very sharp lines. Like any bit of like when it doesn't match up, it just looks like a hot mess. So story is that Elon Musk is really not happy with the Cybertruck's current build quality after test driving this production prototype in their giga, I guess, warehouse. Or not, I shouldn't say warehouse. Their gigafactory in Texas. So he's emphasizing the importance of precision because of its bright metal and shiny edges. Any sort of dimension variation is going to be something that we're going to see, and it's just not going to look right. So this inconsistent build is really causing a lot of problems for him on this Cybertruck. And of course, everybody's waiting for when this car is going to come out. So you can't have everybody waiting. It shows up, it looks so distinctly different from any other car on the street, and then it's not going to look good. It's going to look sloppy, and that's just not going to work. So he is saying that he wants now what they call sub 10 micron accuracy in part dimensions. And you're probably like, what is that? Because I didn't know what this is. So I had to do a little bit of digging. So sub 10 micron accuracy is what you see in products such as Lego For those like I'm like surrounded by Legos right now because I have 3 kids. But Legos, you know how they're like just perfect. Every brick is like perfect. It's shiny. It just fits really, really well. They fit on top. You don't have a bad Lego. We call it in our house. Sometimes, some we'll get a birthday gift and it won't be a true Lego. It'll be what we call faux Lego. Faux Legos, sometimes they don't fit perfectly, but Legos always fit perfectly. That's your sub 10 micron accuracy. And they're saying it's not just Legos, but like soda cans, I guess they have this sub-micron accuracy that they achieved years ago in their manufacturing improvement system. So Elon Musk is saying this must happen at Tesla. And saying quality is now such a big thing for customers because they perceive even these small, consistent like panel gaps. They're saying, well, if this is the case for things that I can see, what about things I can't see in the vehicle? So we know that Tesla's had some manufacturing challenges, and even in 2018, they were talking about how they wanted to maintain consistent quality. But through the years, they've certainly gotten some complaints from owners. We've heard about like cars blowing up either or getting on fire, poor rankings and like initial quality surveys. So we'll see if they can pull through. And yeah, Joshua says, CrossX Fighter says he remembers Legos. Yeah, you remember Legos. I literally am surrounded by Legos. This is one thing that I have found with kids. They're willing to give, at least with like my kids. I have 3 boys, so maybe that has something to do with it. But they're willing to give up a lot of toys. Legos is something that even my 14-year-old is not ready to give up yet. So I just feel like, yeah, I know people that are in their 20s that don't want to sell me. I mean, at the time I was like trying to buy like used Legos for my kids to play with. I was talking to people in their 20s and they didn't even want to part with their Legos. So, yeah, Legoflation. I think Legoflation is a big thing too. All right. Segueing over to other things that I thought those was really interesting. I want to talk to you about Heineken. Now, for those of you who are like, wow, Heineken on when he's going to talk about Heineken on the show, that's different. Yes, it is different, right? Many of you know Heineken, very popular adult beverage beer. You see it all over the place, but one place you're not going to see it anymore is Russia. They have officially concluded, they have left that airport. They are no longer in Russia. In fact, here's the thing. This is what makes the story really interesting. They sold Heineken, huge Heineken, right? Tons of business, tons of manufacturing, thousands of employees. They sold the business for, get this, $1. Yep. They sold Heineken for $1 to Russian manufacturer Arnes Group. This is completing their withdrawal process that they started in March of 2022. In fact, the Heineken CEO has said that, yes, they face a lot of challenges with large manufacturing companies and leaving Russia. This is just yet another sort of phase of doing this. The company anticipates, get this, a total loss of $323 million resulting from this deal. But because of that full scale invasion that is still ongoing in Ukraine by Russia in February 2022, like we're over almost going into 2 years of this, many multinational corporations have left or have announced intentions to completely leave Russia. So in the subsequent 18 months, the Kremlin has introduced obstacles now for companies like here in the West to divest their Russian assets. And they're even imposing substantial fees on these sort of sales. So Heineken, definitely wanted to make sure they took care of their employees, which is about 1,800 of them. So they sold it to Arnes Group, which, interesting enough, Arnes Group isn't what you would consider they don't specialize in alcohol or beer or beverages. They actually specialize in cosmetics, household goods, metal packaging. But this was a way for Heineken to ensure that their 1,800 Russian employees would at least have work for the next 3 years as part of this deal. So, yeah, interesting, right? $1 sell. So doing things because, hopefully that is the right move for them. I'm glad. I just think we shouldn't like. I don't think we should. I don't think we should continue to do business with countries that you know invade innocent countries. So that's good. Yeah. So I see Vicky talking about beer. Okay, cool. Love it. All right. Let's segue over and I want to talk about Vicky. This is something I definitely thought about you for. And this is, do you want a vacation like a European? This is a story that came from my friend Jennifer Liu at CNBC. And I thought it's just too fun not to end the week on. So yes, this was a story that came on CNBC talking about Americans and a recent survey showing that over 66% of Americans say they want to have European style vacation policies at work. Now, Vicky probably knows what I'm talking about, and some of you who are watching probably do as well. If you do, jump in, let me know. How do you experience this? Are you joining us from Europe? I would love to hear your vacation policies at your work. This is something that a lot of Americans, over half Americans surveyed, they want this. This is extended vacation policies. In fact, many people in Europe, for example, get the whole month off in August. Like right now, we wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be here doing my show. Maybe I would still be doing my show. Maybe I do my show on vacation. I don't know. But that would put some pressure on my team. So I don't know if that would be still good. But they actually get the whole month off. This is according to a recent survey. I vote for a whole month off too. I guess I would be okay with any month as long as my kids can be off too. I don't want them to be in school and me have the month off because then I would just start working again. I wouldn't really enjoy. And then I guess I would also ask for the stock market to be closed because as long as the stock market is open, I can't really take long vacations. So, in contrast to the European Union's guarantee of at least 20 working days of paid vacation, in contrast to that, here in the United States, you only get on average 11 vacation days per year for employees. And that will differ, right? Depending if you just joined a company, if you've been there a long time, if you work at a large company or a small company. Yeah. So some Americans, believe it or not, 21%, in fact, oppose the idea of longer vacation policies. Who are these people? Like, I feel like we have to have a conversation. 21% don't want longer vacations. Okay. Anyway, while others are just unsure or have no opinion on the topic. Okay, I get that. But the survey did say that, some people are completely against extended time off. Maybe this is like the business owners. Maybe that's it. The business owner and managers, because they're saying that it shows that about half of American workers would use the extra time for work-related activities or skill improvement. That doesn't sound so bad, but that would be your choice, right? Additionally, 41% of US workers surveyed in this report show that they now have a greater career satisfaction compared to before. And I would guess, I want to hear what you think, why that is. Like 41% is a pretty large amount, suggesting that extended periods of vacation wouldn't appeal to this group. I'm guessing is because of the pandemic, more people are working hybrid or working from home, and that can lead to job satisfaction of having choice, right? Of where you work, and you can juggle things like doing laundry and starting to make dinner and just having some work-life balance. Maybe that's why. So they're saying that Americans have expressed interest in adopting other European practices. In fact, this I thought was kind of cool. 65% support extended lunch breaks. So, Vicky, you need to tell me, like, how long is a lunch break in Europe? Because I'm really curious about this now. Because I know, like, I've been very guilty of often eating lunch literally at my desk, like 5 minutes, still juggling email, and then like throw it away and then just move on to work. So how long are these lunch breaks? And then they say 62% prefer work weeks that are shorter than 40 hours. I get that. I love the 4-day work week idea, by the way, as you know. And then 51% back slower employee response times outside of work hours. So here's the thing I think about that point. I feel like we need to really honor our employees' work hours and time off of work hours. I feel like if you can, at least what I do at my workplace, I try to absolutely not reach out to my employees after work hours, just out of respect for them, right? If it's an emergency, I will, but like I really try to do everything I can, humanly possible, not to get to that point. And I feel like if we did that, then maybe people would be happier because I think that my employees or my team is happier because I really respect their vacation time and their after work time because they do the same for me. So why wouldn't I treat them that way as well? I know. Side note, I'll get off my soapbox now. I mean, it's Friday and I got to let you have a wonderful Friday. And on that note, talk about wonderful. The market's up even higher since we started. So the Dow is currently up 300 points, Nasdaq's up 121 points, and the S&P 500 up 34 points as well. So positive day. Hopefully it continues. The market hasn't closed yet, but it'll close in probably another hour, an hour and a half, and we'll keep with that. But regardless of how it closes, I just hope that you have a beautiful weekend because you certainly deserve it. And I'm so grateful for you being here and supporting me and supporting Level Up. It means so much to me. And just a reminder, if you can, give us a like and subscribe. And if you already do that, thank you so much. Consider sharing the show and being like Joshua and tag me at Winnie Sun when you do that. That'd be so awesome. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you again next week. And I truly, truly appreciate your time today. Take care now.